All right, day 112. I'm in the truck. I created a video before this video, but I like to ramble sometimes, and I like to do it for the relevance of being able to say that I have like a reason for why I'm talking to myself. But this is the real video because I didn't want to make it 15 minutes for the first clip of the day. So I'm in the truck right now, and it's day 112. I got the hot air going. I got my heat seater on. I'm in the passenger side because the driver's side doesn't blow hot air, only the passenger side. The driver's side blows cold air. So I have to put, well, that might make it a lot louder. That might suck. I have to put the hot air on this side, right? And I have to recirculate the air in the car. And then on this side, I have to close the vents, and I have to make sure that it only blows through the front vents, not through the bottom vents, because I can't close those. So I kind of just have like dampening cold air over there, and over here I have like warm air. But anyways, I came out here because today I have work. I woke up at 6 a.m. It's currently 10:40, and I have about an hour and 20 minutes before lunch. And I only get paid to record sedations. And I had 2 big ones this morning, and then I have none until like later this afternoon. So really, until my next sedation, I think I have like 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, almost 4 hours. And so technically I have a 4-hour lunch break right now, but my lunch really doesn't start till noon. So I technically have an hour and a half until then. So I'm kind of just sitting out here instead of being in an office. It's like 10 feet by 10 feet with 4 people in it. Plus I can have like freedom of speech in a way out here. And it allows me to kind of focus more and talk to you guys about what I'm thinking. So I kind of value that aspect. Also, I'm doing some homework over here. But anyways, man, I was talking about marketing. I just was starting to talk to ChatGPT as an exercise. I said, what is the best way, in your opinion, in 2026 to make a high-converting TikTok to market my app? And it really started nailing down on the importance of a hook, the first 1 to 3 seconds of your video. And it said that it should, like these examples, tracking calories like this is why you're stuck. This is why you're not losing weight. It's not diet. I tested 3 calorie apps. This one changed everything. Like, these are the videos in my mind that honestly have a high conversion rate, right? Because it's talking directly about the problem that the app specifically solves. Versus, just giving a slideshow out, right, and hoping for the chance that it goes viral, and then making one of the slides slightly tailored to the app. Like, I don't know how I feel about that, Like, it's almost more about brand awareness than it is about getting sales at that point. So I have tried to manifest in this last, 42 hours the version of myself that's making a couple $1,000s a month, obviously, right? That's making anywhere from $100 to $200 every day. That's, that's like 2, 3, 4 sales on average every day, in-app purchases converting. And I think my app is amazing. The onboarding process is really, really good. Inside of the app, it's really, really, really good. All the features, all the dashboards, everything it tracks, super simple, super easy to use. I love it. I think everybody else, I don't know why anybody else wouldn't love it. And so, yeah, dude, I want to give that experience to everybody. And I got to do that through marketing. So if you've been watching the videos, you'll know that I'm trying to do organic marketing, and this is exactly what I'm talking about, All these things that are talking about calories, like tracking calories like this is why you're stuck. Like, if I make those videos, those slideshows, and people actually watch them, I guarantee you the people that go through the second slide, the third slide, they're going to see my app, and they're going to be like, okay, I'm going to download it, and I know why I'm going to download it, and I'm going to test the 3-day free trial, and then I'm going to get converted because I didn't realize I'm supposed to cancel it, and I'm going to pay $50. So, yeah, man, the version of myself that has it right now, he would be like, at the house, sitting back, chilling, valuing his time, not putting anything else above the time that he knows that he needs to take every day in order to, like, make the money and post the videos that are making the money. He would have a system in place. He'd be making what? If I made $100 every day, every single day for 30 days, that's what? $3,000 a month? If I make $200 every day, that's $6,000. So if I make in that range every single day, based on a system and a process that I have created with a formula that I have created on TikTok organically, like whatever, dude. If I have to make 100 different accounts and I post 5 times on all 100 accounts, and I make unique slideshows or videos on all 100 accounts for all 5 videos, I think that, dude, that's making me $3,000 a month. I think that's way more work than a 9-to-5 job is asking of anybody. But I'm willing to do that if that's what it takes, honestly. But like I said, the version of myself that's doing it, he would have a formula that's easy to sustain, that he's comfortable doing every single day, that's organic, that gets him $100 to $200 in in-app purchases every single day. And I think that the content isn't this Christian Archer content. Like I said, I think that the Christian Archer content is made to warm up an account and is made to target, like get your audience to be a specific audience, right? If I'm posting fitness content, it's a very broad type of video, and I only post like 4 videos before I start posting the videos that I'm trying to actually give effort to, the audience is going to be like lukewarm gym fitness goers, but if I post really intense slideshows that talk about very specific things that are very niche in the fitness space, I'm going to get a whole bunch of gym rats that I'm trying to target. So if I go through all my new accounts and I make 10 videos that are the Christian Archer method, and obviously probably none of them are going to go super viral, and then at the end of the 10 videos for every account, I can start making videos that are actually going to convert well, and that's what I need to do now. I have 5 accounts. I'm going to try to make 10, and for the 5 accounts that I currently have that are warmed up already, what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start saying, hey, I scrolled on this video, it's a viral video. Why is this video viral? Oh shoot, probably it's because of this. Maybe let me copy and remake this video myself, but add a twist to it that is integrating my app. And then I'm gonna post it. Boom, this video got 2,000 views. Great, 500 people saw the part about my app, and guess what? 5 people, 10 people ended up downloading it from this one video. That's great, let me make 5 more videos just like that and spread them across all these other accounts. Boom, now we have 25 people, 35 people that came to the app from these 5 videos that I just posted about a viral concept. Boom, perfect. Or how about this? You know what? I want to make a completely unique video that I made a viral concept for myself. I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to use this hook, this strategy in order to accumulate attention for the first 3 seconds. And then for the next 10 to 15 seconds, I'm going to steal your attention and I'm going to make like you listen to valuable information, and at the end of it, all the problems that I just told you about are going to be fixed by what? My app. And guess what? 50% of the people that end up watching to the end are actually going to download my app. Whether it's 300 people, whether it's 1,000 people, whether it's 100,000 people, 50% of the people that watch to the end of the video are going to be downloading my app, and that's exactly what I want. That's exactly what I want. If TikTok's going to undoubtedly give me 300 views per video, I can post 5 videos on 5 accounts at the same time and post 20 videos a day and get what? Like 3,000 to 6,000 views, I think that is. Maybe probably less every single day. And if like 25% of those people convert, that's like, I don't even know how many downloads, right? And even then, like if I try to make the videos actually like good videos and they get more than 300 views, like 500 views or 1,000 views or 5,000 views, then the chances that the video is going to convert even better are going to be much higher, right? So I think that viral concepts are the method, right? Because that's how you're actually going to go viral. You don't want to reinvent the wheel, that's too hard. But You don't want to be posting like 25 videos every single day for 7 days straight and get a total of like 50 downloads at the end of the week, because that's a lot of effort and that's not a lot of outcome. And it's because the videos you posted are not very high converting. So sometimes, at least for one account or two accounts, you need to make videos that are really niche and that are talking about specific issues that your app solves, really being the thing that is giving a call to action. So I'm actually going to turn this air down. At least I can say that I gave my all for something in life. This is the exact clip that Clav did, didn't it? He was sitting in a seat in a car. Maybe it was his driver's side, maybe it was his passenger side, but he was making a video talking about it. At least I can say that I gave something my all in life. At least I can say that I did give something really my all in life. You know, 112 days. It's going to go a whole lot longer. Put a lot of effort into this. I think that honestly, if I'm being real, God planned for this to go this way. You know, I feel like I was always meant to like have this happen for me, you know? I was always meant to create some sort of a business that was bound to be profitable and make me a lot of money early on in life. All these skills, all this experience that I've been through, all the money that I've wasted, I all knew that it was just a really big investment with a big return on investment. And all this money that I made, all this time that I've spent here, and, you know, I'm talking about my job that I work from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. I just have reinvested, and I've just spent, and I've got literally no return. But all that allowed me to fail and allowed me to experience why I fail and allowed me to get better at troubleshooting things. And I've learned a lot in a lot of different spaces. And if I had never learned that stuff, there was no chance of me ever really becoming the person that I needed to be. And if you think about it, like, everybody has a progress bar that they need to get to before they have what it takes to sustain and earn that money, that business, that success. And I believe that I'm just developing my skills in all the places that I need to the point where I'm educated enough and I have enough experience to justify being successful. And I'm like right there, you know, like making a couple $100 throughout that last month, like that was easy, you know, like that didn't really faze me. I just woke up with another $100 in my account and it was like cool, you know, like when I make another $500 this next month, like it's not gonna like faze me, you know, it's not gonna be like, oh yeah, I made $500 in profit from my app. Like it's gonna be like, oh, like I only made $500, you know. And I'm gonna be looking at, you know, $1,000, $1,500 every month. I'm gonna be trying to really just outpace this job. You know, this job right here provides me anywhere from $800 to $2,000 a month, depending on how hard I want to go in every week. And I want to outpace that with the job that I've created for myself. You know, if I can market my app well enough throughout the month to make more than $2,000 at the end of the month in profit, then I can say that I created a job for myself that's really better than, you know, the options that I have to myself. You know, a lot of people in this world, at least, you know, a lot of people my age in this world don't have the opportunity to just go out and look for a job that they can start making $2,000 a month from, at least not easily. And for me to have, you know, spent the time that I have to create what I have, to be able to earn that money the way I want to earn it by myself, is so worth it to me. And I think, like I said, like I was always just wired this way as a kid, you know. I couldn't see my brothers, I couldn't see my cousins, you know, have this drive in this way, you know, have this like obsession and this passion for business the way I have, you know. So all this failure, this delayed gratification that I practice for myself, like I don't see it in anybody else. And I know there's a lot of people that have it, but I don't see it in anybody like me or anybody around me, and I'm grateful for that, you know, in a way. Because I know it'll allow me to be successful early on. And even if at the end of the day nothing ends up ever happening with this, which that's never going to be the case, but if nothing ever ends up happening with this, everything that I will have experienced and learned, even after spending my, you know, thousands of hard-earned dollars, you know, on this and getting no return, all the experience and the time and the memories that I will have gained from this journey and this process will have been worth it. And you guys don't even know, like, I know this is day 112, but like really I can add, you know, 150 more days onto the back half of this and add a whole bunch of trauma and add a whole bunch of like depression in between it, and you know, so I don't even know what I'm saying right now, but yeah, man, I'm bound to be somewhere soon. And I think that, like I was talking about a second ago, God had kind of planned it to be around this time, because I feel like I needed the years that I've been here for my girlfriend to grow our relationship. I think our relationship is stronger than it's ever been. And I know that not even that long ago, you know, several times throughout this journey, that there's been times where I've talked to you guys about my girlfriend and about kind of like issues and arguments that we've had. But man, we've been dating for over 2 years now, and we've had, you know, countless arguments and countless issues that we've talked to and through. And I think that, you know, at this point, like, we're so strong. We've already been long distance for like a year before I came back, and now we've been chilling for a good year, and I have all senior year to pretty much, you know, be by myself. And I think that was on purpose. You know, I think that the reason that I was been online sophomore year and junior year, not was to just single-handedly like grow my relationship with my girlfriend, but like a big part of it for sure was, and whether that was to grow myself as a man or to strengthen the relationship that will be with my wife in the future, I think that like that's this part of it, like the relationship part of it, played a big role in my, you know, upcoming or my education with it or whatever. I don't know, but I think like, yeah, we're very, very strong right now. And with all the things we've been through and all the things we've experienced together, I don't think that we're breaking ever, honestly. Like, I would have told you the complete opposite not even a year ago. And I am not the type of person to give in with stuff like this, especially not at this, you know, immature of an age. But like on some like, you know, movie type stuff, like with all the things we've done together and experienced together, like I don't think that I could really get with anybody else if I ever left her. But anyways, yeah, what I'm saying basically is we've strengthened our relationship so much. And I think that at the end of this summer, when I move back to Idaho for most of senior year, we're going to be without a doubt strong enough to withstand that. And plus there'll be times that I'll make room and time for myself during the year that I'll fly back over and, you know, hang out for a week, or I'll fly her out and we'll hang out for a little while. But like, I think that, you know, being that I've gotten older and that I've been through this process and experience that I've documented and been through with business, like there's a time that, you know, all the progress and all the practicing of making this work out ends up becoming true, and like I end up becoming successful with it. And I think that time in most of my success will be during my senior year. I feel like it just makes sense, you know, for me to really cut out all my distractions. Moving to Idaho kind of makes sense in a way. You know, moving to Idaho and Blackfoot, Idaho, it's like depressing almost. I'm still pretty far away from a lot of my family. and there's not many activities to do. I'm still doing online school. I don't have a girlfriend. I mean, I have a girlfriend, but I don't have a girlfriend to see every day, you know? And so doing online business and work becomes so easy because most of the hours I have in my day, I can dedicate towards that. And being that it's my senior year, being that I'm almost 18 at that point, being that I have college that next year, like, it's even more of a enticing idea and feeling to just give more effort to the journey. So, man, this is a 20-minute video at this point, and it's almost 11. But I feel like I've talked about a lot of stuff that I can probably end up cutting back on when I'm successful and, like, clip up. But yeah, I don't even know, bro. I definitely think that, honestly, what'll happen is that in this next month or two, like, I will gain some, like, serious, like, I'll be in a new chapter, like, for sure. Like, I'll be in some serious level of, like, I just figured out something, you know? Because not even, like, a couple weeks ago was I, like, signing 8 creators, made a whole creator program, was getting, you know, like, I don't even know how many downloads a week. Not that many, but, like, still, I made $500 in revenue in not that long. You know, I was getting consistent in-app subscriptions every single day. And that was all completely new to me, and I would have never thought, really, that things would have happened that, like, real and that quickly. And now I just feel like I've experienced that level of things already. And I've experienced trying to do paid ads and trying to sign creators, and now I'm doing organic. And I feel like this is kind of the last thing, you know, I'm kind of cornering myself with, like, options. This is the last option. And so I truly think that, like, soon, you know, maybe not in April, maybe not in, like, probably in May, honestly, but, like, even in April too, but, like, I think that something is right around the corner that's a new experience that I'm yet to experience, that'll be a new chapter for myself. And, like, I really hope that that's me making more money than I've ever made in a month in my life, and me really creating a job for myself throughout this summer. And I see myself doing that, like I said, soon, in, you know, this later part of April and this part of, you know, the whole month of May. And then I see myself kind of transitioning that success and that newfound chapter into the month of June, January, and August, or June, July, and August. And, you know, kind of taking it slow, but really understanding where my priorities are throughout the summer. And hanging out with my girlfriend, flying her out, living life in that regard, but really, again, focusing on what I know I need to, and using the formulas and the education that I will have, you know, learnt to get me to where I will be soon in May. And then I think, you know, September, October is gonna hit, and it's time for me to, like, crazy lock in, you know, like a new chapter. So, but yeah, bro, 20-minute video is gonna be a long video today. I'm just yapping, but in about, like, 30 minutes, I'll probably, like, head inside and say what's up to everybody again, and then I'll wait until, like, 11, probably 50, or maybe noon on the dot, and then they'll be wrapping up, getting ready to go to lunch, and then we'll tag along, go to lunch. I might record a little clip at lunch to put in the video, just for you guys to kind of understand what it looks like, and visualize my day a little bit better. But and then after lunch, I'll come back, and I'll probably chill for a while, because I don't have a sedation until after 1 o'clock, and then I'll do my sedation if it didn't cancel, and be doing homework until that whole time, probably, pretty much, and just posting videos at the same time. And then understanding what I'm going to kind of do next, and doing that throughout the rest of today. I don't feel too tired, but I might have that feeling here soon enough. When I get home. So yeah, I kind of need a haircut. But anyways, next steps, because I always like to finish the video with some next steps. So some next steps are, I made one new account, so that's totaling is 5 accounts. And I gotta warm that account up, so I gotta kind of post a few Christian archer videos on that account. But today, like I said, I want to create a few videos that do the part a little bit more as far as converting people and like telling a storyline, to actually get people to download the app specifically, and not just like post Christian archer videos that don't really tell people to do anything. So yeah, just kind of changing the content that I post, and that's going to involve me having new ways, new routines of posting content as well. And then also just manifesting using ChatGPT as a communication exercise for myself. So yeah, I'll see y'all in the next clip. Peace out. All right, look, this is part number 2. And we're back in the same spot. I just got done with lunch and it's 1:43 right now. So probably here in the next 40 minutes, I'm gonna be in a sedation, and then that sedation will probably run me until about 3:30, 3:45. Then I'll be out of here on my way back home, and then I'm pretty tired and I'm feeling like chilling. I couldn't imagine myself like literally anywhere else but my bed after I get home. So yeah, that's probably gonna have to actually end up being the case for me. I don't even really care where I go, as long as like I'm comfortable, you know, which is kind of an issue because I don't know. I don't think I could be comfortable outside because of the sun, and because of like there's just nothing comfortable to lay on outside. I don't think that I could be comfortable in the garage because the only things you have to like sit anywhere really is a stool, and then the only other place I could think of is like my room. So low key might be just, I don't know, I'll have to think about that before I get home. But yeah, I just had lunch, and you know, I wasn't really involving myself in too much conversation, which I think was good because it allowed me to indulge in the most surface level conversations and not really partake of like the current activities of the world in a sense. And so yeah, I'm pretty proud of myself, and I just looked up on TikTok all my stats for all my accounts, and I only posted like 5 videos so far this morning, but they all only got a maximum of like 300 or 400 views. And so I don't know how much faith I have in this whole concept anymore. Of like, I mean, I already talked to you guys about how much I believe in it, but like, I don't know how much faith I have in the concept that is basically like me posting the same type of slides over and over and over and over again. So I think a better use of my time is like when I get home, so basically like re-engineer a formula that I think will work a lot better with a certain set of slides. So like, I don't know, maybe use a whole bunch of like gym clip video things, and then basically tell, you know, Nano Banana Pro to remove the text from the image, and then I can re-download the image without the text, and then I can put whatever text I want to on the images, and I can be like, this is why you're whatever, this is why you're you know, this is why you're, you know, not gaining any muscle, or you're not, you know, losing any weight. And then I'll say it's because you're tracking your calories wrong, right? Like, I just need to look up ideas or think about ideas of like a viral concept of a slideshow that promotes my app like directly, you know, because I guarantee you I'm going to get at least 300 views on that video, and I guarantee you it's going to have a lot more people downloading the app on average than the other videos that I'm using or I'm posting. So yeah, but I don't know. I think that's kind of my strategy. And then I think that there is a level of like video that I could make with AI, but it'd need to be like a short clip. And I think that I would probably use like Kling motion control, and just switch the character around to a separate character, and then just like it's pretty much a brand new video. And then I'll use an audio again, and I think it would technically work pretty much the same. And then somehow in the next clip I would plug the app, and then there's a level of content that's literally like me basically making like my own video that I know would only get like so many views, but I would try to engineer it to get as many views as it could, and I would make it as like basically like a case study of the app as I could, and as far as like, you know, basically educating people with information. So yeah, but I don't know. I'm really tired right now. I'm gonna be honest. Like I don't even know how much sleep I ended up getting last night. I think it was like I probably went to bed, if I'm guessing correctly, probably like 12:30 or 1, and then I woke up at 5:50. So let's just say like about 5 hours of sleep is what I probably ended up getting. And that's not a lot of sleep, especially compared to what I'm usually used to getting. So if it's really hot when I get back, I might as well honestly go over to Maryland's pool, because like why not, you know? Like, you know, nice cool water, hot, sunny, warm day. And then I could bring my laptop and my phone over there and just kind of sit in the shade if I wanted to. But then again, it's not all that hot outside, so maybe not. But I don't know, dude. This evening is going to be the real struggle. Because in all reality, in order to keep the momentum up and stay in the game, I cannot fall asleep this afternoon. But like, where the freak am I going to like sit and be comfortable? I don't think I could literally sit anywhere in the world right now and not like fall asleep and just like be comfortable. Like, I'm telling you right now, if I didn't have a sedation here in like 20-30 minutes and I was just sitting in this truck, like I would be asleep right now, seriously. And when I get home, like there's nothing that I could do in my mind really to prepare myself to stay awake. I don't know what it would be, you know? And like in my mind, like the idea that I'm kind of doing when I'm at my house is like, you know, I'm in a little bit less clothing, so it's a little colder. And then I'm walking around outside of the garage, you know? But at the same time, it's like I kind of want to be laying down because I don't necessarily need to be standing up. And I think I'd be more comfortable, you know, laying down. I don't even know, dude. Also, today's just a random Tuesday. I didn't see my girlfriend yesterday. Don't think I'm gonna see her today, but I don't know. Maybe she'll want to hang out, and I'm already tired, and it's a Tuesday, so maybe I'll let it slide, but I really shouldn't. I told myself that I wanted to keep the ball rolling, and then I wanted to manifest the version of myself that already is doing what I want to be doing, and he wouldn't be going to work. Like, he wouldn't be, and honestly, I don't know why I am. But like, what would he do in the situation where he had to go to work for one day, you know? I think that he would, it would be so new to him, and he would like have expectations that he would need to fill, and it would feel like a completely different day. And he'd look at the days and like, okay, I realize I'm here, but I still gotta follow through with, you know, the normal regular things that he would need to follow through with, like you know, making his content and whatever else. So he would try to make his content and shoot his content. I think that he'd be more adamant about doing that later in the day. Like, you know, I'm talking about like evening when he gets home, when he can actually have the space and the time to do all that. But then again, man, yeah, I don't really know. Because I know I'm going to be super tired when I get home, so I couldn't really imagine myself like being like, oh yeah, like, I'm excited, it's time to work. you know, like the best thing I can see myself doing as far as being productive after work is just closing my eyes to visualize. Like, that's literally it. And I mean, like, yeah, like my thing that would probably like trap me into like falling asleep still, like they would make me okay with it, is like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna set a timer, I'm gonna go to sleep in like 30 minutes. Like, there's no point in that almost, because like when you wake up in 30 minutes, you're still gonna be super tired, if not more tired than you are while you're still awake right now, you know? And then you're just gonna fall asleep, and then you're gonna wake up at like 9 p.m. and you know, you're gonna be just hyper. So I don't even know. I would be willing to take like a 30-minute or 45-minute nap, if I'm being honest, and just set a timer when I get home, because when I wake up, like after I like have taken in like 5-10 minutes to actually fully wake up, I will have been kind of rejuvenated, and I think that's all I'll need until it's time for bed to go to sleep. But it's so weird, like I'm right now more tired than I will be if I stayed up until 10 p.m. or 11 or 12 p.m. Like right now I'm more tired than in like whatever, like what is it, like in like 6 or 7 hours, which is so crazy to me. But I'm also in a truck that's like not running. It's like hot in here, and I just ate food and I'm like laid back, so maybe that's the case. But look, I'm gonna tell you exactly what's gonna happen before I end this video. I'm gonna go home, and as far as the content that I'm gonna post, I'm gonna look at all the videos, all the little pictures that I ended up making myself on Nano Banana Pro so far already. And I'm gonna take advantage of those images. And I'm gonna remake my own videos using those images. And I'm gonna like make a good first set of videos that I'm like confident in, right? Like I am running through the whole ChatGPT checklist. Like, does it have a good hook? You know, does it speak to the target audience that I'm like trying to speak to and that I currently have, you know, going to my video at the beginning, you know? And then like, I don't know, like does it have like a good call to action? Like, is it a proper TikTok video, or, you know, does it look like it fits in with all the other videos on the For You page? You know? So, yeah, man. I don't even know. But I'm gonna perform that task. I'm gonna upload a few videos that way. And then I might find, while I'm in my little flow state, I might find an actual video to try to replicate and kind of extend off of. But yeah, bro. I just want to manifest right now, you know, like saying, yeah, right now, you know, I could visualize, I could see, like, you know, I'm making this much money from this many videos I post, and this is the type of formula that I kind of put together in order to make the videos that makes me these downloads, that makes me these in-app purchases, that makes me this money, you know. And then like just looking around in my life and understanding where everybody is as far as cousins, family, friends, relationships, and seeing like what my life would look like with that change, you know. And like just going through all the little experiences, like, oh, like I just thought of one right now, like, you know, like, oh, I'm on a boat, you know, in the middle of Island Park with Shelly's family, and, you know, they're asking me what I'm doing or something, you know, or maybe even like I'm in the middle of, you know, or in the middle of fall, senior year, and I have nothing to really do, and most of my school's already online. So I decided to take a week off and just fly myself with my own money over to North Carolina, you know. Like in February, I have February, March, April, May. I have 3 months after my birthday to be 18 and fly wherever I want to, whenever I want to. And I think I have quite a lot of legal obligation to fly by myself already. But yeah, I can start making those decisions, and I better believe that I'm giving myself that opportunity, like to be making a couple of $1,000, like however hard I have to end up working to get that. Like, I better be making a couple of $1,000s throughout the month online so that I can travel wherever I want to and continue to make that money and give myself the opportunity to go back and forth between North Carolina and Idaho whenever I want to. I gotta be smart about it. Like, I'm not gonna fly like every other week, you know, but I'm probably gonna fly like, you know, every other month, you know, and spend like a week there or something. That would kind of be a lot, but I think that that's kind of what I would want if I had that opportunity. So yeah, bro, I low-key need to go to the bathroom, and not number one either, bro. And I'm not going in there either, so. The sedation's about to start, so I'm low-key about to go out in there and thug it out because I cannot be caught red-handed with an IV in the patient, and the only thing holding the sedation up is me sitting in the truck. So I'm gonna head in there. Peace out, buddy. All right, so big jump today. It is currently like 11 o'clock right now. So probably, if I had to give a guess, like I don't even know, probably like 10 hours, 8 hours from the last clip. But basically, I came home from work and everything was cool. And I started working, you know, and I have a girlfriend, right? And I have a lot of cousins, and one of my cousins, the oldest cousin in my family, is getting married on June like 20 something. And obviously, being like a cousin, I was invited. And my girlfriend, you know, it would be fun if she came to this wedding, right? Because, like, you know, of course it would be. Why not, right? But she had a soccer tournament around the same time in California, and so that was her biggest reason for not going. And then as of today, she told me that that tournament was canceled. They're not going to California. And so she, like, I thought as a joke, kind of said like, oh, I might have to, like, you know, jump on that opportunity for the wedding, or like. And then she came at me like a few days later, like today, and she was like, well, actually, I was actually kind of really interested in that. Like, can you ask for me? And so I was like, yeah, I guess I need to have this conversation. And I was like, I might as well do it now. So I went out downstairs and I started a conversation with my mom, and I was like, hey, so I have a few questions. And then the first thing I said was, is Maggie invited to Lake Powell this year? And Lake Powell is like the trip that we kind of have at the end of every summer. It's like a week-long trip on a 75-foot houseboat with, you know, jet skis and wig boats and a lot of family. And the way my parents see it is kind of like a week-long family reunion, considering it's between, you know, like one family 1 year and then the other family the other year. And my girlfriend has seen both sides of my family at this point. She's been for 2 years straight. And so I thought, like, you know, this is the obvious situation. Like, just to jump into the conversation about the wedding, I might as well just ask about Lake Powell. So I asked about Lake Powell, and she's like, well, I'm not too sure yet. And I was like, why would the reason be no? And she was like, well, you know, I don't like the idea of, like, it being your two's vacation, you know. Last time that you guys were, you know, hanging out and you guys came along for that trip with that family, that's kind of what it was. It was a vacation that was, you know, kind of for you two. And I can agree with that, but I also contribute that to the fact that it was her first ever time
going that far across the country for the first time, and then also, you know, staying on a houseboat for a week with, you know, 30 people she didn't know. So it's kind of a pretty big commitment, and I obviously had to be there for her. And we definitely enjoyed that trip, and I do think that in a way, like, I was, you know, more focused on her and not really growing my relationship with my aunts and uncles. But I don't think like in a negative way at all. I think whatever. Like she basically just said, I don't know yet, and like based off of everything that usually goes on, like it's debatable. But we'll be thinking about it, and it's already super far out, so you don't need to worry about, you know, asking that question right now. And then that kind of like trended into like me and my girlfriend in general. Like, you know, like what is she looking to do this summer, you know? And my mom like likes a relationship, right? She likes me and Maggie. She thinks it's a very viable relationship and thing. Same with my dad. My dad definitely even more. But my mom thinks that because I don't have like a whole bunch of experience with other people, it's like, you know, she's talking about women, as far as like relationships go, like she believes that I should kind of have a taste of everybody before I, you know, lock into a marriage, because if I don't, then I'll always be thinking that the grass is greener than on the other side, and I will be more enticed to like divorce or something. And I personally, obviously, I can't be ignorant to that view. You know, I have to understand that like she has like a level of what she's saying is 100% right. But at the same time, like I've been dating this girl for 2 years. Like I had a little bit of experience, not that it really matters, removes any sort of a needle, but I had a little bit of experience towards the end of my middle school time, and I knew a lot of girls, and I was in a lot of situations. Freshman year of high school when I was in person, and it was only until like I got put online full time from sophomore to junior year that I've really been like here investing my time in her. And what my parents have kind of seen or believe is that I've kind of been starting to put all my eggs in one basket, that is her. And you know, I've been trying to kind of choreograph and transform my life and my future choices to kind of match her future. And in a sense, like, I think that how coincidentally my things that I want to do line up with her life, like, yes, to a degree, like, that is just like blatantly true. Like, some things I'm trying to kind of match up between us. At the same time, like, I would genuinely want to be an out of state college student. I think that the college experience and life over here is completely different from any college experience at a church school, you know, on the way west. I think, like, weather wise, I'd like to be here. I mean, I've grown up here for 8 years. We'd be seen as residents by the state of North Carolina, considering we have a home. And there's just multiple reasons why I'd like to go over here, you know? I think just the vibe of being at NC State would be pretty cool. And I could definitely see myself being an NC State student. Uh, and, you know, that's kind of the way I'm thinking. But, anyways, my mom kind of started talking after I talked to her about Lake Powell, about basically me and my girlfriend and like what our plans to do over the summer were. And she was saying basically like, to finish that thought with my mom telling me that like she wants me to have a little bit more experience with other people, so I don't think the grass is greener on the other side later in life. Um, her thought process was like, I don't care, like I don't care really what happens. I want you to have that knowledge and experience. Like, if you guys want to stay in a relationship, but then over in Idaho, you kind of put yourself in positions to be around people more, and like girls in that situation, like that's kind of what I'm looking for. Or like if you straight up were to just break up, you know, or take like a whatever you want to call it for, you know, 5 months, 6 months, then, you know, get back together. And I was thinking the whole time, like, this just does not sound right. Like, I don't understand why I would invest 2 years of myself into this girl in my teenage years and then just go out on a limb and just like dump her for like a certain amount of months and then just out of nowhere think that I can just like talk to her and get her back. Like the the life that my parents lived in high school, especially in, way western Blackfoot, Idaho, was like, you're going to a dance with a different guy, you know, multiple times every single dance. Like, even if you have a boyfriend, if you want to go to the Highland High School prom and your boyfriend is, based in Utah and he can't go, then, she thinks, yep, I'm gonna just go with this one guy that goes to Highland, you know, or same thing, like say, oh, I can't be here for this dance. Well, too bad because I want to go anyway, so I'm just gonna go with this guy. And it's kind of the same concept with guys, with girls, like if I want to go to this dance as a girl and I'm a guy that kind of wants to go to this dance, but my girlfriend's over here and she can't be there, then I'm gonna go ask this girl and that girl, and we're gonna go to these proms, right? And that's just not how it works over here in like the southern culture, and like, and people just don't think that way. And I think that that's a big blind side that my mom kind of has and is thinking about. And so there's that anyways. But then we started talking about like college and kind of how I'm setting myself up. And I had never really told my parents this, but I always kind of knew, like, I was never going to use my degree in college. Like, I knew, like, honestly, like, I know my dad's a doctor and my dad makes really good money, and, he's seen is very, very respected. And I think that if I ever went down that route, that I'd have a lot going for me already, and it'd be a pretty smart decision to do that. But I just, like, being around my dad's office and being around the people that he's around every day and the lifestyle that he lives, I just don't think that that's me. I don't think that I necessarily want that. I want the lifestyle that is more Shelly and Brad. And not to say that in a cocky way or a negative way, because Shelly is my dad's sister. But, like, I have grown up and I have tried to make money through online business, and I have watched hundreds of YouTube videos in online business, and at this point I could just not imagine taking that route, taking a separate route that I'm going to be down for 6 to 8 years, through college and through dental school, to take the only to take the DAT and have a hope of getting into a dental school, and then to go down that for like 2 to 4 years and put myself $300,000 to $600,000 in debt, and then have to work my way out of that. Like, that just seems like, a bit of work, right? And I think that the opportunities that are presenting themselves as a smart, disciplined man in 2026, between AI, between just like the online business, like stuff, like there's just so much to grab. And I think that I'm capable of grabbing a piece of pie. And I think the way that I'm wired, and especially in the future, like it will allow me to do that. And I think the biggest like red flags for me in my future are gonna be like not having any sort of business or profitability behind me, and then going ahead and marrying a woman, or going ahead and like having kids with a woman. Like, those things will forever put me behind in life. And so I make a promise to myself that I cannot get married, and I definitely, whatever I do, cannot have kids before I'm like ready and feel like I am capable of financially like growing and like supporting those people, those kids in my life. And so that's just kind of the route that I was thinking about. And I think that it would be stupid to try to go down the business route as a business degree. Like, I think it'd kind of be stupid because I've already been through one marketing class, and this woman has never ran a business in her life, and she's 40, 50 years old, teaching knowledge from 10 years old, right? Like the most we're learning is honestly about like 25 case study videos throughout the whole semester on YouTube. And I just know that like this money that, the state right now at least is paying for is like wasted credits, but like at the end of the day, it's credits. And I was like, well, if I know that I'm not going to use the degree that I'm going to end up getting in college, but I know that I want to be a business owner and I want to build and run my own business, then why don't I just go on the business route? Because even if you do get your degree as a business major, there's nothing you can really use it for, and most people that end up going down the business route, I guarantee you, halfway through their business career, they learn so much and they're already thinking about living this lifestyle that they go ahead and they already have a business on their own and they're starting to make it, they're starting to build it, and they drop out before they even get their degree. And that's pretty much what I'm thinking about. Like, I told my dad and my mom straight up, I was like, the only reason I'm even really looking at college is because of a safety net. Like, I look at college like it's a great like experience to meet people and to make friends and to network, but other than that, like, I know like college is really not for me. Like, the classes that I'm gonna take, I'm never gonna learn a single ounce of information from, and the people, like, well, not the people, but like, I'm never gonna use any degree that I would ever get unless I was in a bad position, and I thought that was the only way out for me. And so like, to them, like me, spending their money while I'm going to a college that I'm not going to graduate from and taking, a bachelor's degree in something I'm never going to actually get the full degree in is just wasting their money. And it's kind of disrespectful, which that's true in my mind too. But they don't think that they should like give me that financial benefit of college if I'm not going to be like make a use of it in a sense. And they think that, which my dad is right about this, if you know what you want to do, you should just lock in on that and not spread yourself thin, because it will bring you the fruits of your labor like times 10. And I fully agree with that, but I just couldn't see myself as, an 18-year-old deciding that, I'm financially capable and set up to go to college, but I'm just not going to go because I know what I want to do. And I'm just going to try to build a business right now. And so I don't know what to think or what to do, but I just know, like, I'm not going to be a doctor, to be honest. Like, I just know that's not me. And I do want to be a business owner. I want to be the owner of something. And I think that if there's any bachelor's degree I could go down that'd be closest to teaching me that in college, it'd be business. And I know that I'm not really going to learn anything from it, that all the information is going to be really old, and that, my grades in the bachelor's degree and the fact that I graduate with a degree or not doesn't really matter. But I think that that's probably my route, to be honest. And it's kind of scary thinking, like, when I go down the bachelor's degree route in business, like, whether or not I graduate, I'll never have something like lined up for me. That's kind of scary, thinking like, I'm just gonna have to pick something up and make it my job, make it my career. That's kind of scary, but I'm confident in myself, and I don't think that I should be scared or worried if I know that I'm not putting anybody else's responsibilities on myself, right? Like having kids or getting married. As long as I don't do that before I have my own job and I'm comfortable, then I think that I'm just fine. Whether or not I'm like 30, I'm 27, I'm 29, and I don't have anything really going for me, well, I'm a 29-year-old living by myself, and I don't really have a lot of expenses, and I can pull myself out of that hole, and the only thing I'm responsible for is me. But if I'm 29 and I have to feed, a kid or two, then I have to be working, I have to be making income, and that's going to distract me from most of my time. And then, what if I have a wife? Then I'm going to, like, just the whole thing, and I'm going to have to be, reliable for these things, and I don't want it to be reliable, when I shouldn't, when I shouldn't set myself up for that, basically, is what I'm saying. And anyways, so I kind of had that talk with my parents as well. Just like, this is kind of what I want to do. And I don't know if I want to be a dentist. And I don't know if I really even need college. And then my dad was like, well, yeah, obviously me and a lot of other people, especially, your cousin Noah, like, they use, and even my friends back in college, like, they used the first year and a half to kind of just goof off, right? They were kind of just there because they didn't know what path they wanted to go down, and it was a fun experience. Like, they had day jobs on the side that were providing, themselves the capability to continue to go to college and take classes, but, like, they were goofing off. They were going to Hawaii, and they were focused on surfing, and they got like a 3.0 kind of average grades, and they were just kind of messing around in a situation that they were taking care of themselves and living on their own for a year and a half before they realized that they had to lock in and that they knew what they wanted to do. And so to kind of know that is kind of, warming in a sense. To know that Dr. Roberry, to know that my dad didn't really know what they wanted to do until like 3 years into their college like experience, and then didn't even really like capitalize on it until like their early 30s. Like, like, that leaves a lot on the table for me. But I think I know what I want to do. I think that I'm more disciplined than most people were at my dad's age and time, and especially even now. And I think that I'm destined for something. I know what I want. I'm built a certain way, and I couldn't see myself doing anything else, like anything different. And I have an obsessive drive, an obsessive thing about me, and I just think like one day, like, whether or not I like, regardless, like, I'm going to be in a position, if I'm not sooner than later, like, I'm going to end up forcing myself, or I'm going to be in a position where it's just going to happen. Like, it's inevitable, but it's just a matter of like, when am I going to make myself do the work, but it's inevitable. Sooner or later it's going to happen, and I'm going to own a business, and it's going to be mine, and I'm going to be profitable, and I'm going to be scaling it, and I'm probably going to be making quite a lot of money, and I'm going to be doing things that I always told myself I was going to be doing, and putting myself in the rooms that I always knew I was going to be putting myself in the room, like putting myself in the rooms with people I always knew I was going to be putting myself in the rooms with, and doing all this other stuff. And even my cousin Noah, I don't even know exactly where he's at with a mission and everything, but he's doing sales over the summer. He's doing sales for 2 months, and his goal is to make $80K. And he's never made not even $10K from sales last summer, and so I doubt that he's going to make 80. But he went down the business route for like a whole semester this last few months at BYUI, and he was partying it off. He didn't know how he felt about it, and he was having a lot of fun, and it was a completely new experience for him, and he was going down the business route, and if I can end up at the end of the tunnel with him, like, our families are pretty similar. We've been like, best buds. I don't know if I like that word, best buds. We've been best friends for like forever, and at the end of the day, like, if we end up 22 out of college, and we both have like, right there pretty much business degrees, and we don't own a single business, and we are kind of in a crappy situation. Like, we're there together, it's kind of cool, it's kind of fun. But look, man, I have a goal with this business thing, with this app, and I truly think that it's going to become something soon, and I just need time. This week, and today and tomorrow is kind of the first time I'm really getting that for a consistent period of time. But anyways, back to my whole girlfriend relationship thing and the wedding. My mom and my dad kind of pointed out that like my girlfriend's mom is kind of in a way vicariously living through her. She's not pushy and telling her, like, forcing her to do certain things or whatnot, but she's very encouraging to go down a certain path. And whether my girlfriend realizes it or not, like, you can tell based on the past history decisions that her mom has heavily guided her in those directions, with like what positions she plays in soccer, with what sport she continues to play, with what, club she goes to, with this, with that, with what college she applies to. Like, she's trying to get a full ride or like a scholarship. And her mom was very much involved in that, and really like directing her future that way. And I noticed that, like, when I go to her house and when I'm around her mom, like, she's polite to me and everything, and she kind of does stuff in a way for me, but in the end it's for her daughter. Like, she's never like kicking me to the curb, but she's also like not individually necessarily like bringing me into it. She's like, oh, like, I think my daughter would enjoy this little trip with her boyfriend, so we're gonna make it happen. But really, at the end of the day, like, what's really happening is, if it wasn't for me being in Maggie's life this last 2 years, my girlfriend, in her mom's mind, she would have not been nearly as productive and would have not had her head down and focused throughout high school. And so she thinks that I'm a very, very good influence and thing on Maggie. But, like, my parents were worrying about me because at the end of high school, when, it's up for grabs and, like, there's just one final decision, she believed, that my parents believe, and I kind of believe at this point too, that it's going to be me up at odds against her mom. And, that's not a really nice situation to be in. I mean, me up against her mom in terms of, like, her mom's going to be telling her to go to one way and one college, and I'm going to be asking her to kind of, stay back with me and grow the relationship that we've been investing ourselves into for forever. And, her mom's going to be telling her, like, dude, you got a full scholarship to this college, and you could be going here, and, like, all these opportunities here. And, and I hope that at the end of the day, like, when it does come down to that decision at college, when, it might be me up against her mom as far as odds and whatnot, obviously, like, when it comes to, like, being emotionally just, like, overwhelmed, and she's living with her mom, she's grown up with her mom, like, I think it's going to be, like, impossible for me to kind of be by her side in that moment compared to her mom. And I think that she'll just end up making a decision there, and her mom might get the best of the sides in that situation, and I think that'd be pretty bad for me. And so it's very important that I gear myself for myself, which is really hard because, like, Maggie is gearing herself for me, and I'm gearing myself for her, but she is very easily controlled by her mom, and I'm not really easily controlled by my parents. So, like, when she's telling me and we believe together that we're going to have our way with college and we're going to be good, and then at the end of the tunnel, her mom, like, starts to do this and that, and, like, now I'm just kind of stripped of her and kind of, left alone that way. That's terrible for me, and I think that, her mom's college experience was, like, the highlight of her life. She met these friends apparently, and she did these crazy things and this and that, and she was this person, and she kind of wants her daughter to kind of have that same spark in college, to kind of do this and go to this opportunity and go to that opportunity. And, if I'm there as her boyfriend to kind of, like, keep her from doing those things, her mom's not going to see that as in a good light. And I think that if I'm in a relationship with her, I should, like, it doesn't matter at that point. She's 18. She's a grown adult. She can say what she wants. She can do what she wants. She can go to what college she wants to. But I think that emotionally, her mom's just going to have that hold of her. And it's going to be hard for me to take advantage of that, or take advantage of like, what I can in order to, like, make it work for us. And it's going to be really difficult. And, my dad made the analogy, like, dude, obviously I'm not trying to speak anything into existence, but my worry in the worst case scenario for you is, like, you kind of choreograph your life and conform your life to coming over here and paying for this college, and, it taking us on a little bit more financial debt. And then, a year into it, Maggie's mom has this whole plan to, like, get her up with these high, grades and degree into a high earning school like UNC or Duke or High Point, and then she goes, and then, her mom's hope is that she meets a trust fund kid that has a lot of money and is a part of the yacht club, and then like, at that point, Maggie has got, all this behind her, and her mom's super happy and, like, low-key vicariously living through her. Like, that is honestly a very probably accurate description of what Maggie's mom wants. And I do not want to line myself up for something and be stripped of it either. And I'm kind of just getting a little bit of an eye-opening. So that I thought, like, it's me and Maggie in this, and, like, we are going to be able to control our own ships, and we know what we want to do, and I'm confident in this decision with myself. And I think that regardless of not, like, I'm kind of taking a route that I think is still good for myself, even if things do end up as bad as they could happen and whatnot. But, like, now that I kind of open my eyes, like, I've always wondered kind of, like, why Maggie's mom was never that involved. And now I kind of realize, like, dude, she could, like, because she's okay with me. Like, I'm putting Maggie on track on soccer, on high school, and I'm doing these good things for her. But then, once I start to kind of, college ends up happening, like, she might have a different take, and she might start steering people like her in a different direction and this and that. And, like, the worst thing, man, is if I invest myself for that long during my high school career into this girl, and her mom just, like, strips her away to go, like, to a high, status school just so she can meet some other guy and, like, be set and then be a part of this club. Like, dude, that would be terrible. And so that kind of opened my eyes a little bit and made me want to have a talk with her and be like, hey, like, be, like, in between our parents and, like, kind of have a little bit of a peace of mind between me and her that, like, this is kind of what we're thinking. And I want her to kind of acknowledge that fact. And I think, like, if she can't acknowledge that and like, we don't have a clear picture of what's going on, and I can't be, like, promised a piece of her in a way when that time comes, I think that it's probably better to start preparing myself for what I think is best for me in the future and start taking actions that I think would currently benefit me more. Because, I mean, even day to day, like, sometimes, I'm not really going to want to hang out on Friday of this weekend because I'm going to want to be consistent with business. But, like, she's going to be asking to hang out, and then we're going to hang out, right? And then I'm going to be spending time that I'm never going to get back, and I'm never really going to care to really spend. And then doing, like, what? To just drive her home. And, like, sometimes I'll be spending money on her to whatever, like, fly her out to this state or to pay for this drink or this dinner, right? Or this dance. And all for what at the end if that happens, And I think we've done so much together that we're just, like, tied together in this way. But, like, dude, if I am ever at odds against her mom in that type of situation, I'm honestly scared of, like, not knowing, like, which way Maggie's gonna go, because, like, dude, Maggie's mom is all Maggie really ever has known, right? Like, you can literally see every decision that she's ever made in her life has been because of her mom. She's grown up with just her mom. Like, her mom's biggest goal for her firstborn daughter has always kind of been to, like, go to the highest level of college and be here and be there. And I just don't want to be at odds with that. I really, 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 really don't. That's why I think that, like, to put myself in the best position involving that relationship, like, I need to lock in this summer and, during my senior year, and I really need to try to make some sort of business profitable and work, because if I can have a profitable business and then be accepted into a college in North Carolina that I think that I can, like, then, like, I think I'm set in a sense, Like, if I have a profitable business, it's making me a couple $1,000s a month, right? And, like, in any situation, I think I would still be set, because I can just scale that business, say, screw this relationship, this is just terrible, and then I can move down to whatever. I can move down to Miami if I want to and go crazy, right? I can go back to Idaho and I can live the family life up and scale my business to 50K a month and buy a whole bunch of this and just be a crash out. But like, bro, honestly, I see my life going one of two ways. I think I see my life going, I build my business, I become profitable, I focus on it like nothing I've ever done before throughout this summer and throughout, next, like the senior year. And it's going to be like, that's a non-negotiable for both routes. But then I think that there comes a time that we start applying to college and that things start to, heat up. And I think that I, have a taste of college during my, the last half of my senior year. And then, I decide that I'm going to, go to the same college as Maggie, right? And we had this plan to, like, go to this college. And then we go to the same college, and I'm working on this business is, like, kind of profitable. And then we're kind of just bouncing in and out, kind of living our life for 4 years. And then I kind of have something that ends up popping off on year 2 or year 3. And I kind of drop out of the whole college thing. We move out into an apartment and we start living our life and we get married and I'm making a lot of money. And, then, later we start having kids and like it's cool and we live our life that way and we move to Georgia and then there's that, right? Or I don't see Maggie taking the route that I want her to take with me as far as college goes. And then I start to decide to take my own route, what I think would be best for myself. And then, a year into college, her mom's convincing her to go to these things and do these things. And we just kind of become out of touch and we're not in the same place for long enough in order to sustain the relationship. And then something, obviously bad would happen and I'd probably end up having to split ways. And then boom, I'm like 19, 20 years old by myself going to college, just basically broke up with a 3-year relationship, 4-year relationship. And like, I'm just, I just lock in for real. All I have left is, I'm free out of a 3-year relationship and I'm like 19 or 20 years old with a passion for business and I'm alone. Like that's all I really need, and I'm going to be successful soon after that regardless. And at that point I can be seen doing whatever I want to do, living whatever life I want to do, whether that's moving to seriously Miami, whether that's, going to this event or that event, going to the UFC, going to this car meet, going to this event or that event, and then just like spending all my money and being reckless. And then, later in life, I settle down, I'm 27, find a woman that I like, in Utah, Mormon girl, and or in Idaho, and I marry her and I'm rich and we start having kids and that's life that way. That's really one of 2 ways it ends up going. And honestly, dude, if I had known even 6 months ago that at some point in the future, me and Maggie are going to split and break up and never marry, I think I would completely change the way I hang out with her and I look at spending time with her. But like this last 6 months in my mind currently has shown me that like we are stronger than really anything. But at the same time, like her mom has never jumped in front of us before. And I think like that could literally in a way selfishly happen like not that long. And I don't want to be seen as a tool for Maggie's mom to get her to do her work. And then as soon as she doesn't need me anymore, she tells her daughter to do one thing and her daughter like selfishly, like overwhelmingly just does it. And then I'm screwed out of what I want in the relationship. And I just either have to conform to it and make that work out, which is a terrible idea, or I'm going to have to like stand for my ground and tell her and her mom what I expect and what I want and what's reasonable and what a good compromise would be. And if they can't conform to that, then I'm out of there, honestly. But this is a long video and it's like 11:30 and I gotta, I don't even know what I gotta do, but I just woke up. I ended up having that conversation and then coming upstairs, making a few images from Nano Banana Pro and having the idea to take those images and basically put my own text over them and remake basically my own slideshows with those new photos. Put the text there myself and kind of reorganize the videos to be anywhere from 3 to 6 slides and kind of conform to the idea of a calorie tracking app, be a little bit more conversion, idealized, and then use those photos to kind of do that. And then at the same time, a little bit later tonight, I was planning on, making a few of those slideshows and posting them, and then going the video route and trying to like conform out a video idea that would be like with either Kling 3.0 or with myself talking into the camera. That would be like basically me saying like, you don't know how to track your calories, or like you're tracking your calories wrong, or you're not seeing any weight gain or loss because of this. Basically just like trying to help people with info solve a problem that they've had, and then solve that problem basically by telling them about like X and Y and like how X and Y can be solved with this app, being like more conversion based, right? But then probably, I don't even know, probably about like 7-8 p.m., maybe not even that late, I went upstairs while I was doing that whole thing. I was listening to the Logan Paul Impulsive podcast, and I started getting warm, and I just kind of like took a second and I kind of closed my eyes. Before I knew it, I woke up. It was 11 o'clock. So yeah, but I had work and I don't have work tomorrow, so I think that with the extra energy that I now have, I can choose to put on my headphones and stay up tonight and make the videos and make the images and make the slideshows and make the drafts, and have an understanding of what type of routine it would look like in order to make the content that I know I would need to make in order to, see some conversions soon and whatnot. I would do it, and then I would wake up tomorrow and I'd post that content on time. And then at that point, whether or not it works, I have an understanding of what to do next, and like technically like what type of routine it would take to consistently make these videos again and again and again to post. And then, I'd hopefully find a groove with the content that I'm making, what content's converting, what content has the capability to go viral, what content do I want to really be focusing on, what, system and formula of these types of content with these types of accounts will work together in order to make me the system that I need to have in order to be profitable, or in order to make it this much money every month and see these conversion rates. And I think that I'll kind of figure that out towards the end of April here. And at the same time, during this week, I kind of need to do some homework. So yeah, I think right now, as far as everything is kind of being wrapped up, I have a Mexican meal up there in a bowl that I just microwaved probably 45 minutes ago. And it's probably cold now, but I don't care because it probably tastes better cold anyways. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to eat that, and I might take a shower, I might not, because I'm already in bed with my shirt off, and I feel pretty good and clean. And then I'm going to put my headphones on, I'm going to get my laptop up, and I'm probably going to watch a YouTube video or listen to some music or something, manifest maybe a little bit, and then make a few slideshows or organize some videos in the way that I think would work really well. Obviously, I can't sit myself down in front of some light and like talk about tracking calories right now, but I can make however many AI slideshows or videos that I need to, and I think I'll be just fine with that. So that's kind of my goal for tonight. Pretty much, like I said, just eat that Mexican bowl, turn out the lights, headphones on, laptop open, maybe talk to my girlfriend about a few things over text, and yeah. I don't even know how many people today. I think I got like 8 people today. So I think I got like 14 yesterday, and I don't know if I have 8 people today. It might be more than 14. It might be like 15. It might be 16. It might be 9. It might be 10. It might be 12. I don't know, but I think it's 8, maybe 10 today. And I think I had like 6 people start the quiz, and 6 or 5 people finish it in one column, and then like 9 people start the quiz and 9 people finish it in one column. In like 0 purchases. So I think what that adds up to be like 14 people today, or to go through the funnel and like 0 purchases at the end of the funnel. So yeah, I don't know how to feel about it, but the app is doing well. It's a good product, and I'm proud of it. And I think that, with this next few days in mind, with the content that I'm going to try to be organizing and the formulas that I'm going to try to be creating, the virality that I'm going to end up having, and the consistency that will be the result of that is soon to come. And I just need to be locked in and consistent, because even as much as, a 4-hour nap that I just had probably can throw me off my game completely. So today wasn't the best day overall. I had a really long conversation with my parents about something, and then, obviously I took a little nap, and I had to wake up at 6 a.m. and work till about 4 p.m. and I didn't have a lot of time in between to do what I know I needed to do, and now I'm just trying to get to that stuff and be productive about it. So not the best thing. And obviously Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I've kind of kept myself, keeping the opportunity to myself to do the work and be consistent. I don't have work anymore. The only things that, could distract me are things that I'm willingly involving myself in, and I'm not going to make that mistake again and again and again. So yeah, man, we're going to be in a good spot here soon, but I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace out.